Good day, folks. It's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. Today we're going to look at another big trace file and how to handle it. I get a lot of people asking me, what do you do when you get a 1 gig, 2, 5, 10 gig trace file, and how do you work with it? Because Wireshark isn't really built for that. In my past articles, I've talked about various ways of handling it, including you can also buy third-party applications that will take a trace file and do reporting on it for you. But in this case, let's deal with filtering. We're going to do a filter, but from the command line using tshark. So that's something I like to do, and it won't take long, and I'll show you how it works. And I'm going to give you all sorts of statistics to prove to you if it does help or does not help. The key to this exercise, don't worry about my numbers. Pay attention to my methodology so you can go away and you can try it yourself. As always, now I'm starting to say this in my videos, just like, subscribe, however you found me, whatever social media you found me, just make sure you do the courtesy. Let's get into it. So here's our trace file. It's a 3 gig trace file. There it is, 3.3 gig to be precise. And I loaded it up. In previous videos, I've shown you how to turn on this load timer in your status bar, and this took 1 minute and 10 seconds to load. That also means if you go to statistics, endpoints, conversate, whatever you do, it's going to take probably about that long to load any of those reports, which in most cases it becomes quite unusable, right? You're not going to be sitting around a minute every time you click something, especially if you make a mistake. So how do we whittle this down? Well, this trace, like many traces I see, has the test computer's traffic in it as well. In this case, it's a Microsoft computer. You might have a remote desktop or VNC or whatever traffic to control it, as well as the traffic it's capturing. Not to mention all the traffic it generates when it's connected to a domain and map drives and all the regular nonsense that your machine does in the background. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the command prompt and take out the MAC address of that computer. Now you can get it right in the trace if you'd like by going to statistics and endpoint, or right on the machine do an IP config /all. There's lots of ways of doing it. So I'm going to assume you know how to get the MAC address of your computer. So from here what we're going to do is, a little tiny bit of this stuff. Let me get that out of there because that's for the next screen. There we go. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you that within a notepad I simply typed echo %time %. That's going to display the current time. I just want to show that to you just for one moment. You know what I'll do? Yeah, I'll do that. So what I could do is just crank open another command prompt for you and just copy and paste it here and show you what it does. It shows the time. And why am I doing that? Well, because this is kind of like a script, right? But I'm just kind of doing it shorthand, and I'll show you how I implement it. So echo time shows me what time it is, and then it does my tshark command. So here's the syntax: tshark -r, the name of the trace file, and then $uppercase Y, capital Y, space, double quote, and then I have an exclamation mark, or as people call it, a bang, and then the actual syntax for the command is eth.addr =, and then the MAC address that you want to get rid of. And that's what the exclamation mark does. It says not, right? Not. If you want a trace file with just that traffic, then I would just take the exclamation mark out. So a double quote on the end, -w, and the name of the new trace file, and then let her rip. And then echo, again, the time. So it's going to show me the current time, it's going to run the command, and then show the current time again. That way I'm just showing you how long it takes. Obviously in the real world, you don't need the time parameters, but for this video I want to show you how long it takes. So a little review, it took 1 minute and 10 seconds to load in Wireshark in the GUI. Now how long does it take tshark to rip through this and build a new trace file? Well, it started at 1:16 p.m. and it ended at 1:18 p.m. Now, how long is that? Here, I'll do the math for you. It was 1 minute and 53 seconds. Now, I'm not telling you that's how long it's going to take with every trace file on your computer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's how long it took for me on my machine with this trace file. So, 1:10 to load in the GUI, 1 minute 53 to actually create the trace file, and then the time to just load the filter trace file was only 23 seconds. Now, if we take a look at the actual folder, you'll see the filter trace file is 900 meg, right? Again, you might see the 900 meg and say, wow, that's still too big. I want to whittle it down more. Yeah, open it up, go through it, right? Here's the filtered trace file. And you might say, oh, this 1.86, we don't need that. It's whatever. Or I don't want the ARPs, or I don't want ICMP. And you can go through it as many times as you want. I strongly encourage you to have one command for each filter trace until you get the hang of it, and then you could probably put a bunch of them together and you'll do it all in one string if you want. But I kind of like this controlled methodology. So that's it. So you can do it from the command prompt. You can use tshark. You can filter out stuff, and you can create a new trace file, and it'll make loading your trace files a lot quicker. Have a good day. Bye for now.